Hello, I'm Brian Foster, and welcome to my blog about Spiritism. Before I begin, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the bell, and give us a thumbs up so we can educate people about the real world, the spirit world, where you are immortal. Now, today we're going to talk about Matthew chapter 18, verses 7 to 9, which is temptations to sin. This is what he said. Woe to the world for temptation to sin, for it is necessary that temptations come. But woe to the one by whom the temptation comes. And if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life crippled or lame, than with 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into the eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than with 2 eyes to be thrown into the hell of fire. So, why so drastic? Take out your eye or your arms or your foot? Isn't this somewhat exaggerated? It does seem so if you believe that you have just 1 life on earth. Although if the concept of eternal hell is correct, then removing parts of your body to avoid eternal punishment makes sense. But this implies that anyone who commits a heinous act still will rot forever in hell. Is this just? Is this consistent with the love for the sinner and forgiveness stated in other passages in the New Testament? I say this short excerpt stands out as more drastic than others. Let's start at the intriguing statement that everyone requires temptation. Now, why is that? Because these temptations, for example, to be born poor, middle class, rich, in power, out of power, etc., are all needed to provide a well-rounded experiences in our quest to become a perfected spirit. Higher spirituality isn't just giving love in your heart, but also an understanding of how to analyze and solve many situations. As a higher spirit, you won't just stand by idly in eternal bliss. No, you help whole cultures, whole planets, animals, plants. You help guide individuals also. So hence, we need to acquire many different experiences in order to do the job a high spirit is assigned. Otherwise, why would Jesus say we need temptations? Just to prove we belong in heaven? But how could one person be exposed to all temptations in one life? This would mean that a lucky poor slave would never have the temptations of the rich, which are many. And of course, Spiritism tells us the trials of the rich are one of the hardest trials to go through because of the many temptations to do whatever you want to be or to do and not care about the consequences because no one will tell you the truth because you have money and they don't. Now to the avoidance of temptation. Let us look at what Jesus said in light of Spiritism. We see a different meaning. Christ was illustrating the importance of maintaining our trajectory of improvement over multiple lives. Spiritism tells us that temptations are lessons, and if we are successful, it is an important victory to our spiritual ascendancy. But if we fail, then we have wasted another whole cycle of life, and even worse, we may have more to pay for in the future lives. Therefore, doing wrong could result in a double mistake. We fail in a lesson from a previous life, and now we have more payment that must be made in future lives. This is why tearing out your arm, taking an eye out is, don't make that mistake. It doesn't just last 1 life. It lasts when you're in the spirit world, depending on what you did and your attitude, and beyond, maybe a life, multiple lives, depending on the severity of the crime. So, the concept of tearing out an offending limb isn't so dramatic when you see yourself over a trajectory of eons. Let's say a life every 100 years. That's 10 lives in 1,000 years. And all that while is hopefully you're improving step by step, tearing out your primitive emotions and replacing them with uplifting emotions, love, charity, fraternity, and honesty. And the important thing is, Spiritism tells us this is vital, because the reward of going to heaven and the reward of going higher and higher in the levels of heaven is immense. And as it says in the Bible, and also as it says, in Spiritist literature, that the reward for doing good is hundredfold what it is on earth. So you will be given more responsibility, more power. You will be surprised at what a wonderful reception you'll get when you pass over if you try and be a good person. And when you're a spirit who volunteers on a mission and you succeed in that mission, you succeed in ignoring those temptations. I know, I think I was given a lot of temptations. And in fact, I probably accepted most of them, unfortunately, when I was younger. But looking back at my life, where I could go one path or another path, I now understand how the spirit world hurted me, so I wouldn't go off my assigned mission. And it's amazing, the things that when you look back and go, oh, like one time I read about this guy who was going to make a wrong decision, so they made him very sick, so he couldn't do anything. Well, that happened to me. I was on the cusp of making some really bad decisions, and then for some reason I was just so sick I just couldn't do anything, and then the time passed. You know how those things work. Times pass, and that's it. So these little snippets of the New Testament are so important because they reveal, Jesus revealed so much about Spiritism and about the processes of the spirit world and why we're on earth. We're on earth as a campus to learn and to become better. So anyway, if you'd like to learn more, I suggest you read my free PDF book, Spiritism 101, The Third Revelation. It's on my blog, www.nwspiritism.com. And if you want to learn more about my own path to Spiritism, you can read the 7 Tenets of Spiritism, how they impact your daily life. God bless.